So again, thank you, closers, for joining us today. For everybody listening in, this is a President's Club exclusive call. If you are not in President's Club, that's okay. I encourage you to get onto our calls, to listen to the stuff that we're saying, because this is the intense training that you're going to get that's going to help take your business to the next level. So my name is Clay. I am one member of President's Club. There's also Lucero and Stephanie Lee on our team. They are awesome. They will help you grow your business, as will President's Club. And if you don't know what President's Club is and you're just listening in, you're like, who are these crazy people? President's Club is the elite of the elite. It's a next level service to help you grow your business. So its purpose is to give you a set of resources and also benefits. All these people on this call today, they're actually paid sponsors of President's Club. That's right. We pay them with lead credit, baby. If you produce a certain amount in President's Club, we're actually going to pay you to be a part of President's Club. It's kind of a crazy deal. And then you get all the extra benefits on top of that, stuff like websites, continuing education, WebPres, baby. It's all sorts of crazy stuff to help your business. That's what President's Club is. So if you're listening in and you're like, man, I want to learn more about this President's Club, write down this number, okay? Write down this number. This is my number right here. It's 336-343-4371. 336-343-4371. Text it right now, not later, right now, and say info, just info. And I'll send you some more info immediately about President's Club and what we do. It's next level. It's going to help you. All these people are in President's Club, and the goal is to grow your business and help you close mo. So let's talk about closing, baby. So to prime y'all, my panelists, in a minute, I'm going to ask you kind of like just some brief mindset about like closing and how you handle objections. And once we get into the call, we're going to do some round robin objections, how you guys handle certain stuff that clients say. And we're looking for some good, quick stuff, some one hitters that you can say to people. So that way, when our new producers are going out there, they've got their ammo locked and loaded, stuff to say to our crazy clients. So that way they can get more deals. So just to be clear, everybody listening into this call, you do not get paid to sell. You get paid to close, baby. We do not get paid to give out business cards. We don't. A business card implies that we do business together. If you're giving out business cards and you're not picking up checks, you're not doing business, baby. So if you remove the C from close, you get lose. You not only lose a client, but you lose an opportunity to help somebody, baby. And that's what we do. We help people with insurance. And you need to help your family, because I'm sure your family likes things like lights and heat and energy and trips to Aruba and trips to Alaska. So, baby, we need you to close. This is about growing your business. This is about helping people. This is not about going in there and giving them a business card, baby, because I don't put no bread on the table. So it's time to get serious. It's time to pick up some stuff from these top producers, and it's time to close the dadgum deal. So closing is going to take boldness. It's going to take practice, and it's going to take repetition. So we always talk about doing massive activity. You got to do massive activity to get in front of people, but you also have to sharpen your sword. You have to get better. So what you're going to hear today is like a lot of things that people say in order to get checks. So starting at the top, I want to introduce my man, Joseph Dukes. He has been with our organization for many years. He's an agency manager. He's paid over $68,000 this year, so you know he knows how to pick up some checks. Coming in from Detroit, Michigan is my man, Jeremico Edwards, paying this year over $70,000, baby, $70K in business. He ain't no joke, and he's in Detroit blowing up a massive team as well, and also an agency manager. Also joining us today is Belle Kraus, Belle the Bombshell Kraus. She is part of the Lampe Warriors, $228,000 in issue paid business, baby. God bless America, 228. Whoa. And finally, Debbie Ben, coming from Westerly, Rhode Island, coming in with $81,000 issue paid business. You're with some people that know how to pick up some checks. These ain't no schlubs, baby. They are the real deal. So without further ado, Joseph, I'm going to start with you, man. Can you hit us with some mindset about kind of what you're thinking when you go in for the close, what you think when you get objections from your clients?
Clay, thanks for asking me on the call. This is awesome. Coffee is for closers. And yeah, it's where it starts. The mindset has to start that you're there to help a person. I'm there to make a friend, and I'm gonna make a friend for life, but I'm gonna make a friend that I'm gonna help. because a friend is someone where there is a relationship of back and forth. Like it's gifting and receiving. It's I'm not looking to take something from them. I'm looking to give them something and something of value. So I know that when I go in there, I have something to give them somewhere in that book of tools that we walk in the door with, whether it's life, annuities, Medicare, hospital indemnity, whatever. I can introduce them to Chris Norris. I can introduce them to Ivy Wilson. I can introduce them to Gina Hawks. I can help them with something. So I know that when I'm walking in that house, I'm there to help them. So if they're just say, well, just give me the price, I'm like, oh, easy. Price is important. And the first thing we got to figure out is if I can even help you and if we even need to have this conversation. So I think that's probably where the whole thing is going to start at first, is going to be, do they know that I'm there to help them? And do I know that I'm there to help them?
I love it. Jeremico, hit us with some mindset, how you handle that.
So my mindset is pretty much, if I don't help them, nobody will. Now that may or may not be true, but my mindset has to be that going in, because it helps guide me down what to say and what not to say. And I have to get the sale, because I truly do have a deep belief that if I leave that house and they give me to think about it, or, let me talk with my daughter or son, and get back to you, I am of the belief that something could happen to them tomorrow. And I was just in that house. I don't want that story to fall back on me. So I have to put my all into that appointment right then and there. Love the one you're with. So my whole mind and heart is there in that appointment. Am I somewhat thinking about who I got next? Yeah. But my whole being is there in that appointment, because if I fail, they may not get another shot. They may not make it out, something could happen to them tomorrow. So I'm focused. And it's just, how can I help them the best? And again, like Joe said, let them know that I'm there to help.
If it's meant to be, it's up to me, baby. I love it. Belle Krause, light us up.
When I go into an appointment, I go in there as an investigator and a problem solver. It doesn't matter what they put the request in for. We got to figure out what the real problem is. And if I can help find out what the problem is, I know we have an arsenal of solutions. I have no doubt when I walk into any home, I have an answer to their problem. I just got to figure out what the problem is. And more importantly, I need them to discover what their problem is. So if we have the conversation in a way where they can discover their problem, then it's all about solutions. It's all about solutions at that point. They know they have the problem at that point, and I know I have a tool that can solve the problem. So when those two come together, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And it's the same thing as Jeremico. I've had people die that were thinking about it. When they find your business card, it happened to my husband. We were at a national convention. He gets a phone call from a family member who found a business card of his in the house. Someone just passed away, and that person had wanted to think about it. You take a call like that, you will fight for every family you meet. The fastest I've ever had a client die after getting a policy was 42 days. 42 days. And that client, he wanted to think about it. And I asked him a question because he told me he was going to go duck hunting after that because it was duck hunting season. I said, you just told me you go duck hunting every day of duck hunting season. Are you really going to think about this? Are you going to be out there, putting trophies on the wall, roasting duck over a fire? Let's get this taken care of for you before you go. And then you can have all the time in the world after that if you want to switch to something else. 42 days later, he dropped dead in his front yard.
From a duck?
Nope. I thought it would be hunting. When his daughter called me, I was like, don't tell me he had a hunting accident, because he had aged out of the opportunity for an accidental death. And I so wanted to get him one because he told me all the stuff he did, but he had aged out of that opportunity. So we had to go with the absolute biggest final expense plan he could get. He made 2 payments. His family got a $25,000 check.
That's a big deal, helping people. Debbie Ben, hit us with your mindset of entering somebody's home and walking out with a daggum check.
So mindset, first of all, I'm there to help them, like everybody else is saying, kind of redundant, I know. And as even Jeremico was saying, I might be their only shot, or even Belle said, I might be their only shot. I might be the last person that they talk to be able to walk into their house. But at the end of the day, here's my real thought process too, is they filled out a lead. they asked us to come and help them. They said, come help me. And then you're going to get there and they're going to be like, oh, sorry. Never mind. No, I don't think so. You see, and my mindset is that if you order a pizza and the pizza man shows up, you're going to take the pizza. You can't say, never mind, I'm not hungry anymore. Right. So that's really what's kind of going through my head at that time. Like, you asked for this. Now I'm here to help you. The question is, the question is, are you going to get it or not? It's what are you going to get? And how can I help you in the biggest way possible? And make sure that you have it long-term wise. What do you qualify for? There is no other question.
They licked the letter. They put it in the mail and sent it back to you. What else do you need, baby? I love it. I love it. Well, we're gonna do this two parts. So I know we kind of talked mindset in the home, but I get a lot of people who struggle with objections over the phone. So we're gonna kind of go round robin in the same order we just went through on what you say to some of these objections when you're booking an appointment and how you transition. So I'm not looking for a full script. I will deliver you the objection and you just hit me back with what one of your go-tos is when somebody says this. So we're in the middle of the script, Joseph. I'm talking to you and you're trying to book an appointment with me and I hit you with, yeah, Joe, that's great, but hey man, we're not interested anymore.
Oh, awesome. Man, Clay, that makes my job super easy. Now tell me, originally, what was the information that you were looking for?
Boom. Jeremico. Hey man, yeah, we're not interested anymore.
So when you sent the letter in, what were you interested in at that point?
So everybody listening in, I hope you're writing down these questions, because that is the key to this whole deal. Notice the questions that these producers are asking, because at some point somebody filled it out, right? They had to have interest at some point. So what were you interested in? Belle, what do you say when you're booking an appointment, they say, yeah, I'm not interested anymore?
You're going to hear a lot of redundancy, it looks like. So when you were looking at this, when you first got it in the mail, what was it that really made you think this is something I should have a conversation about? Was it the disability portion? Was it the tax-free portion? What part of that, when you were filling this out, really grabbed you and made you think that this might be worth a conversation?
That's good. That was a little bit different. Debbie Ben, do you have anything different when they say not interested?
I say, haha, that's okay. My job is just to satisfy the request. What's your schedule typically like? Do you normally work Monday through Friday or on the weekends?
Boom. Y'all hear that fake laugh? That was good. She's got a good fake laugh. Hey, this is another common one we get all the time, Joseph, is you'll be talking to somebody and you say maybe the word mortgage protection or final expense, and all of a sudden they hear that trigger and they hit you with, oh yeah, that mortgage protection, we already got it taken care of.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, Clay, I tell you, that makes my job a ton easier. Now, you probably got a lot of these letters in the mail, and you probably sent in a bunch of them trying to figure out which ones was going to give you the best cost option. Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, that's exactly why I'm coming over. Toughest thing to do is actually to get approved. Now that we got you approved, I need to make sure that you have the lowest cost plan available. So now, is it easier to catch you tomorrow or Saturday?
That's good right there. Y'all see what he did right there? He said, yeah, you probably got a lot of these letters. You already approved. Now we got to get you a better price, baby. Boom, spun it. All right, Jeremico, you roll up in there, you're booking an appointment. You say, and you're telling about mortgage protection. They say, oh, we already got it taken care of.
I'll go, awesome. Do you have a 2-year wait period on that? Is it like the money back? You got cash value? Do you know anything about your policy? And whatever they say, if they say no, then I go, awesome. I'll just make sure that you got what you think you have, and then I'll get you what I have, and then we can go from there. If they say, yes, I know everything about my policy, I'll go, awesome. So I'll just get you what I have, and then we'll just go from there. But I do got to get you out of the system.
That's good. That's good right there. All right, Belle, what do you say? We already got it taken care of.
That's great. That's going to make this go so much faster. We do take that into account during our appointment as we take a look what you got in place as well. You may not even need anything else. It's just our job to go through this with you and get you signed off on. So are you home after 5? Are you both there together? What's Tuesday look like for you?
Boom. Hey, notice how she asked a question. She made her statement. She said, great, it's going to make my job a lot easier. Just got to get you checked off, yada, yada, yada. What time are you home? Where I see people get killed is they will have something good to say, and then they won't ask a question. Bro, ask a question. That's how you're going to get it. All right, Debbie Ben, what do you say when somebody says, oh, yeah, we already got it taken care of. Thanks for calling.
I say, yeah, you probably got a lot of them in the mail, pink, yellow, green, white. Anyway, my job is just to satisfy the request. What's your schedule typically like? Clay, do you normally work Monday through Friday or on the weekend?
Boom. I like how you threw that pattern interruption, pink, green, white. I mess them up. That's good stuff. All right. So I get it sometimes where we're booking an appointment on the phone and people want to talk money. They want to talk shop, baby. They want to immediately just give me some quotes. So when you go in and you're booking an appointment, they say, yeah, Joe, I'm really busy, man. Can you just email me the quotes?
Oh man, Clay, that would make my job so much easier. I would never have to leave my desk if I could just mail stuff out to you. But challenges, of course, we got 30 companies, and really it's awesome because in most cases we can do this without a doctor, without a physical. And that really the insurance companies, they just make me make sure that you don't weigh 1,000 pounds with your liver hanging out. And that makes sense, doesn't it, Clay? So now, are you home tomorrow before 4 or after 5?
Do you say your liver hanging out?
And you know what? And every time they laugh. 1,000 pounds with your liver hanging out, and they will laugh every time. And I want them to laugh because people trust people that they laugh with. And then that is a good sub point. All right, you heard it. Say the liver hanging out, everybody. All right, Jeremico. So you're booking an appointment, and they say, "Hey, man, I'm really busy. Can you just email me some quotes and some numbers, and then we can meet?"
Oh man, well, Clay, that would make my job a lot easier. I'm what you call a field underwriter. So my job is simply just to come over, look at you, make sure you're not, 1,000 pounds on oxygen, stuff like that. But it'll take about 15 minutes. Are you normally free during the day or more towards the evenings?
Nice. Field underwriter. All right, Belle. Yeah, this sounds really good, but I'm just super busy. Could you email me some quotes and then we'll meet?
Be honest with you, Clay, I can't give you any quotes because I don't know your eligibility. So let's get your pre-screening scheduled so we can find your eligibility, and then I'll give you all the quotes that you want with things you can actually have. Because until we know what you can actually have, I can't give you a quote. So right now I'm scheduling for Tuesday and Wednesday. What time do you get off work on Tuesday?
Eligibility. I like that. All right, Debbie Ben. Yeah, this sounds really good. Could you just email me some quotes and then we'll set up a meeting?
I would love to, but I have to actually physically see you, make sure you are who you say you are. There's no insurance fraud going on. So Clay, what's your schedule typically like? Do you normally work Monday through Friday or on the weekends?
Insurance fraud. That's good. If you said that to me, I'd be like, oh, I better book an appointment. Oh my gosh. All right. I want to do a couple more of these. So especially, we're winding down in this pandemic, but obviously that was a hard thing to kind of handle, meeting with people. So Joe, how were you handling that objection of, hey, there's a pandemic going on, we're not meeting people face to face?
Well, hey, I appreciate that, Clay. And good thing is that the Department of Insurance has deemed us as essential workers. So truthfully, I stopped kissing my clients a long time ago. But when I come out, I will have a mask on. We'll have social distancing, and if that doesn't work, then I have no problem. We can have a conversation. I can FaceTime you from my car, and we can chat there. Nice,
essential worker. Jeremico, what do you say when they say, "Yeah, we're not meeting with people face to face"?
So let me see. I have the times I've gotten it. Okay, all right. So Clay, I totally understand. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my mask and gloves on, and I'm going to come to the door, and I'm going to pull my mask down so you can see my face, and then I can go sit in the car and we can finish up the application from the car. But I do have to come out and see you. I'm a field underwriter. So they send me out to make sure you're not like, 1,000 pounds hooked up to oxygen, stuff like that. But anyway, it'll take about 15 minutes. Are you normally home, during the day, afternoons or evenings?
Nice. Smoke screen and get them. All right, Belle, what have you been saying when they say, I'm not going to meet with you face to face?
Well, I completely understand with everything that's going on right now, but we are essential workers, just like your home health nurses and the plumbers and the electricians that are still out there doing their jobs. And we'll have our masks on. I'll have extra hand sanitizer for you. We can do our social distancing. But I do have to come out there and meet with you because our anti-fraud measures require that I verify your identity. So I'll just come out there when I knock on the door, I'll have my mask down so you can see me, and then I'll pull it right back up and we can get on with this and do what we need to do. So typically I'm working right now Tuesday through Wednesday. What's your schedule look like on Tuesday on a typical day?
Anti-fraud measures. I like that. That would mess me up. Debbie, I'm not meeting people face to face. The pandemic, COVID, all that. Sorry.
Let me ask you real quick, Clay. Do you go to Walmart, grocery shopping, anything like that?
Oh, yeah, but I have to have my groceries.
Yeah. I understand. I promise you I have way less germs than they do. Anyway, I will wear a mask, et cetera, et cetera. But what's your schedule typically like? You normally work Monday through Friday? Like,
that was good. You go to the store, don't you? Get just
you got
one
a lot
insurance
less
lady.
germs. You got a lot less germs than them things at Walmart. Dang,
I
that's
do.
good to know. That's
I
like
make a
that.
guarantee she's got less germs than Walmart. Oh my gosh. Stay focused here. So sometimes, this is the craziest one to me. People will act like they did not fill out a letter with their handwriting, their address, and their date of birth on it. And it's pretty common. People hit you, Joseph, with, yeah, that's not me. I didn't fill that out.
Oh, awesome. Well, hey, man, we definitely need to get this taken care of then, make sure that there's no mail fraud going on. So I'm going to bring this letter back to you just to verify that it is you, so we don't have to get the mail inspector involved. And now, are you going to be home tomorrow before 4 or after 5?
Mail fraud, mail inspector.
Which is MAIL. Let me be clear, MAIL, not MALE. It's a different kind of inspector.
That was your previous work. All right, Jeremy, go. Jeremy, go. I did not fill this letter out, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, well Clay, I mean, I see on here you put your age, your date of birth. You actually signed the letter as well. So what I'll do is I'll show you this letter. If you say it's not you, then I'm gonna get this over to the fraud department. But I'll be out in your area tomorrow. So are you typically home during the day or more towards the evenings?
Boom, love it. Belle, I didn't fill it out.
Well, it is handwritten here and someone has signed your name to it. I tell you what, how about I just swing this by tomorrow, have you and I both take a look at it and just verify that it is or it isn't you. And if it is, we'll go over what you need. And if it's not, we can get this over to the fraud department and see if we can figure out what went on. So you typically home on Tuesday after 5, or what's your work schedule like on Wednesday?
Love it. Fraud department. All right, Debbie. I didn't fill this out. That's not me.
so let me ask real quick, Clay, does somebody do your mail or your bills for you?
No.
All right. Well, someone else sent this back. Anyway, I'm going to be out in your area. I'll swing by. And what's your schedule typically like? Do you normally work Monday through Friday or on the weekends?
I like it. All right, so that's going to conclude our phone section. So I want to point out for everybody listening in some common themes, because you notice they all kind of say something a little bit different, a little bit the same. But notice they acknowledge the objection. They say, yeah, that's great. And then they say something. Okay, it could be a smoke screen. It could be something to kind of throw them off. It could be something funny to make them laugh. And then they ask a question. There is a duplicatable formula. And like part of this call is for you to hear some of the crazy stuff Joe and Debbie and Jeremico and Belle say to people. So that way you can kind of throw them off a little bit. But notice the formula is acknowledge, say something crazy, maybe say something normal, ask a question. Ask a question. If you are just acknowledging the objection and saying, oh yeah, well, I've got your handwriting here and it looks like you sent it back, and then not asking a question, they are going to say something else crazy and dumb to try and throw you off. It's a game and it is a question game. Notice how everything ends in a question. That's how you get over objections over the phone, excuse me. Moving into the home. This is where y'all pick up the check, baby. So before we jump into any specific objections that maybe you get when you go to ask for that check, I want to hit y'all with kind of an opportunity. Maybe you have a go-to close, or maybe you have kind of like your go-to transition for getting them to give you the check or transition into writing that application. So maybe you don't, and maybe you just say, hey, get your checkbook out. But Joe, is there anything like every time when I go to pick up the check, here's what I say to transition from the numbers to let's write this thing up?
Cool. So, where's my ATM's in my car. So as you're using the ATM and there's a spot that says what happens next, really, that's the page that I use when I'm like, okay, Clay, hey, listen, the only thing that I'm going to be able to help you do today is apply, because I don't know if you're going to get qualified. Hopefully we can. But now that we know why you need it, because that's the most important thing. Now that we know why you need it, we need to figure out which company that we can hopefully qualify you through. And like I said, all I'm going to be able to do is help you apply. So then we're going to reach, we're going to figure out the right company, then we're going to figure out the right dollar amount. Now, truthfully, I'm a budget Nazi. You know, my daddy always said I had champagne taste and beer budget. So when most other people do, everyone wants like this much insurance, but really most of our budgets are about right here. So we're going to figure out what's going to fit comfortably in the budget. Is that okay, Clay, if we do that? Cool. Okay. So then when we send the application up, then there's really nothing to think about right now, because we got to get it approved first. Okay. And then once they get the policy approved, they're going to issue it and they're going to draft that first month's payment that we agreed on. And then they're going to send the policy back here. And then in about 2 weeks, when we get the policy back, I'm going to come back over, and then we're going to sit down and go over it together and make sure it's exactly what we need, if we want to increase it or decrease it or make it longer or make it shorter. Or, hey, if you've been at the casino all weekend playing Keno and you decide you got bags of money in the backyard, you decide you don't need it anymore, then we send it back to the insurance company, no big deal. Okay? That makes sense.
And then nice. And then they just say, okay, and you write them up.
Right. And there's a lot of me stopping in there and like I'm nodding and I'm saying, that makes sense, doesn't it? All right. And then I'm looking at you and I'm looking at your spouse, and you know, I got to get buy-in from both people that there's nothing that we're submitting it with the banking information.
And I think we call that a trial close. So I'm guessing throughout the presentation, you're checking their temperature. You're checking in to make sure, hey, yep, still on board, still makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you have to, because I'm really good at steamrolling over people if I'm not asking them, does that make sense? Because I've done this so many times that I'm already 10 steps ahead in the appointment. And if I don't stop and say, does that make sense, Belle? Does that make sense, Jake? Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then we move on. Because if not, I'm like 10 steps ahead and I'm already to close. And they're like, I don't even think we need this. So.
Makes sense. Jeremico, is there something like every time you're in the home, you're ready to get the check, what do you say?
All right. So after they pick what's comfortable for their budget, I double check and make sure, okay, so you can pay this price no matter what happens. If the car breaks down, if the refrigerator breaks down, no matter what happens, this is comfortable for your budget, right? Once they say yes, then I'll ask typically what date of the month do you typically pay your bills? They give me the date, and then I go straight to the beneficiary. So after they say, the 23rd is good for us, okay, because that'll be drafted every month for you. Now, who do you want to get the money? You know, if it's husband and wife, I'll start with the husband. I'll say, okay, of course you want your wife to get the money. If it's husband and wife, I'll go to the contingent. Who do y'all want to get the money if something happens to when something happens to the both of you, who do you want to get the money? If it's a single person, then I'll ask them, who do you want to get the money? It just starts the application. It starts them. They remember why they're doing it. It puts their beneficiary right in their face. And it's a smooth transition to me. I don't have to, there's not too many bumps once I go to the beneficiary.
Got it. Roll right into that thing. I love it. All right, Belle, what is your transition into writing the app, getting the check?
So once we've gone through and we've found what works in their budget, the first thing I say is, okay, I have those applications here with me today. Go ahead and grab your driver's license and your banking information while I pop up my laptop and we get this going for you. Now, who did you say you want your beneficiaries to be?
Boom.
Mm.
I like that. Just grab just go ahead and get your driver's license. And I'm guessing you're just kind of acting like it's normal. Like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Just go get it.
Yeah. They got stuff to do.
like
I got
that.
stuff to do.
I like it. Debbie, what is your transition into getting the check?
My transition is, so Clay, do you have a middle initial?
Yeah, it's A.
And last name, Mertes? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. And then it's 123 Main Street. What state were you born in? I'm literally filling out the application.
So you just roll straight into it. So you get them to agree to a number and then you just,
So usually when I start filling out the application, again, they asked for us to get them insurance. They asked for the mortgage protection. They asked for the final expense protection. They asked for it. You're there to complete the order. The only way to take the order is to get the information and fill out the application. So
I
yeah.
love it. I think we call that assuming the sale. So seriously, y'all, they filled out the damn lead. Y'all are there to fill out the application. Let's go. It's called assuming the sale. Sometimes, and I'm not accusing anybody listening in, but sometimes I think we go into it and like we're hesitant and we're asking, oh, are you sure you want to do this? And we almost talk ourselves out of a sale. You notice how like Jeremico, Joe, Belle, and Debbie, it was all just kind of like almost matter of fact. Belle's like, yeah, just go grab your driver's license, and she's doing the paperwork. Jeremico just goes right into the beneficiary. Joseph just says, okay, we're going to do this thing. Like, it's an assumed sale. And I think that's one of the biggest things a new person needs to hear is assume it, bro. You've already made it this far. You've already presented. You've spent an hour with them presenting about insurance. They're ready to go. Assume it and make it happen. The other thing I want to point out is y'all's body language. Like when Joe is saying, does that make sense? He's going like this. And I don't know if you knew you were doing that, Joe, but it's just like, it's ingrained in like, he's like getting them to nod. Belle's body language is very just like matter of fact. Same with Debbie. They're just writing the application. It's matter of fact and it's assumed, and your body language matters when it comes to the close. Don't be rigid as a board and asking them to fill the application. Bro, they're going to do it. They made it this far with you. All right. So in the rare occasion, so I would say a lot of closing is kind of setting up the close and just rolling right through it. If you're listening in, you're like, oh, that's the biggest thing you can take away from this is like, just assume it and your close ratio will immediately go up. Now, in the rare occasion, I am guessing sometimes people will object to you and say, whoa, 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 and they'll put the brakes on. So I want to hit y'all with some of the stuff people say and how you handle it and get back in to that application zone. So common one, right? We're talking price. So when somebody hits you with that price objection, Joe, and maybe it's at the close, maybe it's some way in the middle, some time in the middle of the application, but they hit you with, hey man, it's just, I don't know if we can afford it right now.
Well, the first thing we have to do is it certainly has to be something that fits in the budget. And Clay, that was definitely why I was saying that, I'm probably the biggest budget Nazi out there. So we need to make sure that whatever we're looking at makes sense, not only today, but is going to be an ongoing, because this is going to be something that I sit down with you every year on, we review it every year. And I never want to have that conversation of like, oh my gosh, Joe, heck, we had to stop eating last month so we could make the insurance payment. Okay, so can we make sure that whatever we're looking at, it makes sense and fits comfortably in the budget?
Yes.
Because we got to do that early before we get to the expensive price.
So before you don't get the price objection because you say that early on in the presentation.
Yeah, the best time to overcome the objection is at the beginning, is way before it's an objection. It's kind of like someone saying, I want to think about it. I don't get to think about it because I tell them that at this point, there's nothing to think about. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because we have to get approved first. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
I love it. I love it. Jeremico, somebody hits you with, yeah, it's just, I don't think it's in the budget.
So, well, the budget is super important. I don't want you to be cussing me out. I don't want you to cuss me out every month when it's coming out. Here's what I will tell you. Start where you're comfortable, and then we can always come back and increase it. And this is off script. So Clay, you'll be shocked how many people don't know that you can cover half the mortgage. And so when we tell our clients that you can cover half the mortgage or 25%, you can always come back and add more later. Like I've been in countless of homes where agents, like I'll run behind agents and the agent gets upset because they don't want to cover the whole mortgage. And so here I come and say you can cover half the mortgage, and they write an app with me. So all we have to say is you start where your budget is comfortable. I'm your agent. You got my information. I can always come back and add more later, but I would rather you have something than nothing. Do you agree that something is better than nothing? So let me know what's comfortable for you, and I'll be your agent. You can always call me. You can call me 6 months from now, Clay, and say, hey, Jeremy, I want to add another 50,000. That's fine as well. But right now you don't have any of this mortgage covered. Right now you don't have any of your funeral expenses covered. And so something is better than nothing.
I love it. That is a good question to ask. Do you agree that something is better than nothing? Y'all write that one down. All right, Belle, they hit you with the price objection. Can't afford it.
I typically don't get that objection. Kind of like Joseph, you're setting things up along the way. So prior to even showing a price, I explain like mortgage protection. And this is what I do. Mortgage protection is a range. At a minimum, we want to protect the equity in the home and prevent foreclosure with the goal of getting enough coverage to pay the whole thing off. To be honest with you, Clay, most people do something in between those two things just based off their budget and what they're eligible for. So what we're going to do here today, we're going to put together a plan that makes sense for the budget you have right now to make sure that you can preserve the equity in the home and not get foreclosed on. And then we can always build on it later when the resources become available. So let's just take a look at some of these numbers, see where we're at, and make sure that that fits in your budget. And then that's it. I start, and the way I start it, and this, again, just my thought process on it, 2 years worth of the mortgage payment. So if they're paying $2,000 a month, I'm going to start them with 48, basically 50,000. And I'm going to explain, okay, we talked about how the minimum is protect the equity in the home. The way we do that, we make sure there's enough money in your hands to make that mortgage payment every month for 2 years. And that buys you time to make those hard decisions. Are you going to refinance and get a lower payment? Are you going to sell the home and take the equity and go do something that makes sense for your new lifestyle? Are you going to rent it out, get roommates, or turn it into an income property? But the key, Clay, is now you have time to make those decisions before the bank forecloses and takes your equity away from you. And that's going to cost this much.
I love it.
And
so
then
that's
they talk me up from there.
So that's a good like buzzword, protect the equity in your home. I like that. I like that a lot. Debbie, I'm guessing you also don't get the price objection because you're playing offense, not defense. So how do you, I guess, prevent the price objection? What do you say during your presentation so you don't get it?
So one thing I will say, Clay, is if I do get a price objection, it comes in before I even sit down. They're like, now we're going to tell you right now, we don't know if we can afford this. Da, da, da. This is before I even sit. Like I'm coming through the door and they might be saying something like that. Other than that, you're correct. Like we don't get that. But this is what I say to them before I'm even sitting down. I say, listen, the idea behind mortgage protection is to protect you and your family and your assets. The idea isn't on a Friday night, if you want to order a pizza, you can't do so because you have this insurance. It's peace of mind, not anxiety. Anyway, if we could all have millions of dollars worth of insurance and, return payment, all the bells and whistles, we would, but that's not reality. So let's go see what it is that you're eligible for, and we'll make sure that it works within the budget for you.
That's good. I like that. All right. So big takeaway, everybody listening in. The best way to avoid an objection is to not get it. So how do you not get an objection? You play offense, not defense. Defense is you being responsive to something people say. Offense is at the beginning of the conversation or some point in the conversation talking about budget and being conscious of their budget and figuring out where they're at. So that way, when it comes time to close, we're just assuming the close. We're not having to fight an objection. All right, that was good stuff. Thank you all for that. So I think we get this a good amount with people who are shoppers. They hit us, Joseph, with the old, yeah, man, this is really good, but I need to check around, do my own independent research with a few other companies.
Awesome. Yeah, and Clay, that's actually why I'm here. You remember back here foot back to the front of the ATM. You remember back here where we talked about the 30 companies that I work with? The good news is that I actually shop with all of these guys. And the biggest difference in insurance, Clay, most people don't know about is that if we're really comparing apples to apples, that cost-wise, they're all almost exact the same. Truthfully, the toughest thing for us to do first is actually to get you approved, because not everyone gets approved. So, but you know, it's like people don't die at a different time if they're with State Farm than they do with Mutual of Omaha, right? You know, right. It says, okay, they're all using the same calculations to figure out how long you're going to live. So really now we just have to figure out which company you're going to get qualified through first. And then truthfully, we can shop with everybody, but first we got to get you covered. And then when we come back, then if there's somebody else we want to look at, awesome. But the biggest thing right now, Clay, as you probably would agree, is just to get you approved. Isn't that right?
Love it. Isn't that right? Just get you approved. Jeremy, what do you say when people hit you with the shop around?
So all these insurance companies, they know each other's prices. The government regulates these insurance companies. You won't find one that's way up here, one that's way down here. You're a 36-year-old male, non-smoker, so that's what they're going to cover you for. So the main thing is finding a company that will approve you. And that'll take about 4 days, 4 or 5 days to see what company will approve you. But, shopping around is just, you don't want to, how many more guys like me do you want to sit with? So since I have these 12 companies here, I've shopped through the company. So the main thing is your budget. So what did you say your budget was again? Like, what did you want to stay under? And I go right back into, yeah.
I like that. And that's a good point. I don't know, like, I work in insurance, and I don't think I'd want to sit down multiple times for an hour and talk about insurance. Sounds terrible, actually. So let's get it done today, baby. Belle, I'm going to switch gears on you because I think we're going to get similar objection returns to the shop around, which is, hey, man, I work with 30 companies. What else do you need to know? Let's go. Sometimes people will hit you with kind of like the other party objection. And what I mean with other party is they'll say something like either their kids handle their finances or their spouse, they need to talk to their spouse. So let's say you're sitting with an old person and they say, yeah, Belle, I just need to check with my daughter. She's in charge of all my finances. So then after I check with her, we'll probably do something.
Clay, that's great. Let's go ahead and get her on the phone. Now, you said she's in charge of your finances, or do you just run those decisions by her? How does that work here? Because sometimes there are people that are POA. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to play along. I just say, yeah, we run them. I just run my decisions by her.
You just run them by her. Okay. I tell you what time let's get her on the phone. And if they come back and they say they can't, no problem. Let's go ahead and see if we can at least get you approved. And then we can all talk together about what this is for you and how it's going to help your daughter. Because do you think it's going to be easier for your daughter to handle everything when we hand her a $5,000 check? Or if she's going to have to come up with that $5,000 on the spot when something happens?
I like that. Debbie, I'm going to give you a slight variation on a similar close. You're sitting with both spouses, okay? You're sitting with both spouses, and they hit you with, yeah, this is really good, Debbie. We just, we want to just discuss it together, and then we'll get back to you.
I say, absolutely. Of course you can discuss it together. I mean, I thought that's what we were doing here. But what we're going to do is we'll take the applications. Once you both get approved, we have 20 days to make any changes we want to the policy anyway. Obviously, this is what makes most sense for both of you now. So we'll do the applications, get them completed. When you get approved, you'll get the policies in the mail. I'll come back out over and go over all the information again with you guys. And if we need to make any changes at that time, we will.
That's good. And that was your phone ringing, so that I know that was money calling. That was hard to resist. We're like triggered to answer the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm trying to think other ones. This is kind of crazy, Joseph. I don't know if you've ever gotten this being in Utah, but has anybody ever said, Joseph, this is great, but before I make any big decisions, I run it by God. I need to pray about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we should probably pray about it. Do we want to hold hands and do this?
Who do you pray to? That's That's
Sure.
good.
Let's
Let's
get
pray
done.
about it right now. Why wait until Sunday? Let's pray now, baby.
And that's the reason, Clay, and in all seriousness, I will do that. I'm like, cool, we can pray right now if you want. I mean, I'm cool with it. And Clay, that's the reason I do what I do, is for helping families. And really my job is I love my job. I love being able to help people. And that's actually why I'm here. I'm here to help you. So really the only thing that we can do right now is just to get approved. And truthfully, even if after you pray about it and God tells you that, yes, this is the way to go, or no, it's not, really, when I come back, we can decide which way we want to take this once we get you approved. That makes sense, doesn't it, Clay?
That's good. That is good right there. We're going to switch gears, Jeremico, and I want to close, and I'm going to give everybody a stab at this, so we'll come back to you, Joe. I would say probably one of the more common objections that a new person might get, but a lot of times people hit you with, Jeremico, this is great, but we just need to think about it. Just need to think about it. You understand, right?
Wow. So if you're getting that, you probably didn't build up the emotion and the trust in the earlier part of the sale. If I get through all that and they still give me to think about it, what I will say is, so did everything that we discussed here today make sense? They're either going to say yes or no. Okay, if it made sense, here's what I'm going to do. Since you need to think about it, do you think a week or two would be enough time for you to think about it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you apply. Would you rather think about it while you're covered or not covered? Well, I'd rather be covered. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to just help you fill out the application, give you a couple weeks to think about it. But while you're thinking about it, I'm going to see if you get approved. And then you just let me know what you want to do from there. But like you told me earlier, God forbid something happened to you tomorrow, or if you had died last week, your daughter will be out on the street. So since you told me that, I have to turn something in to get you covered, because I care about what's going on. So I have to get you covered, but it's up to you to let me know what you want to do after you get approved. You just tell me what you thought about, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. I like it. Bell, do you have a different, I want to think about it close, other than we're going to submit the app and let you think about it?
It's slightly different. I don't get this a lot, again, because like everyone else said, it's in the process along the way. But when they do say, well, we want to think about it, I was like, well, honestly, you don't have anything to think about yet, because the ball's not in your court yet. You have to get approved first. So let's take the application, let's get you approved. And from the time you're approved, you have that free look period to think about it. That's the whole point. Because what if you spend the next month thinking about something that you can't even have? So let's go ahead and see if we can get you approved and get that taken care of. And then once you're approved, you can decide then, it puts the ball back in your court. Is this something you want to stick with, or do you want to make adjustments to it?
Love it. Love it. Debbie, I want to think about it.
Yeah. While you're thinking about it, they're thinking about it too. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the application. And like I said, once you're approved, we have 20 days to make any changes we want to it. We can increase, decrease, go from a 15 to a 20 year to a 15 year. But this one obviously makes the most sense for you. And this is what we're leaning towards. So while we're doing this and while they're thinking about it, you can think about it. And then, of course, if we need to make changes along the way, we will.
Love it. Joseph, I want to think about it.
Well, you remember, Clay, when I said earlier that right now, until the insurance companies approve us, there's really nothing to think about. So right now, we're just swinging for the fences. So, and that makes sense, doesn't it? I know that you and Sarah said that it made sense first. So what, and I might ask, what's changed? So what's changed in the last 2 minutes? Because I got them to agree with it beforehand.
So you're thinking there's something else. It's not really thinking.
Else. Right. It's because if I can get them to agree with it, and Jeremico said it's the emotion. This is an emotional deal. So I have not got deep enough into the why. If we're still in the think about it phase, I haven't bathed in the blood enough. I haven't killed him good enough and drug his carcass across the floor for a spouse to see how bad it's going to be financially. So if I got to go back and do that again, cool. But really, it really is. I'm going to ask. So what's changed?
I love it. So my big takeaway is that when y'all don't, when it comes closing time, y'all don't really get objections. And if you do, it's an indication of something you missed either emotionally or playing offense before. So people listening in, a lot, you're going to hear objections, right? You're going to hear it if you've not done something correctly throughout the sales process. So what you need to learn and revise is when you're going through the sales process, you need to be watched building the emotion big, killing people across the table, setting them up for that sale. So that way, when it comes time to get the check, it's just like a matter of process. It's a matter of, like Debbie said, taking the order as opposed to selling or hard closing somebody. So we're all about offense here at the Alliance, not defense, baby. So thank you all for being on the call today. This was a President's Club exclusive. If you jumped on here or you're listening to this recording, this is just an example, a type of call we do at President's Club to help sharpen your sword, to get access to some of the top producers in the company. These people are busy, so I thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on the call today to help President's Club get better and to grow this thing. So again, my name's Clay. You heard from the top salespeople in the company how to grow it. Let's charge on, baby. Thank you guys so much.